welcome home. It's Irish Family History with curious news and notes, celebrating our 4th year of this podcast at the Irish Roots Cafe, where every day's a holiday and there's always room for one more. One of 6 broadcast series from the head school at irishroots.com. I'm Mike OLaughlin, your host, publisher of rare Irish books and information on every county in Ireland since 1978. Be sure to read our blog, complete with links to click on from this podcast, and search our master index and books for free. Molly, wet the tea, Katie, bar the door, Sweeney, clear that floor, and bring out the Irish dancers. It's time we get this show on the road. Oh, yes, indeed, and it's show number 189 of the Irish Family History and Genealogy podcast. I guess altogether now we've got close to 300 shows from all our different little segments, so that's pretty darn good. Hey, among today's topics at the Irish Roots Cafe, number 1, the family name of the day is MacGill. Number 2, the Irish Head School pick is the Irish Language CD that we're just coming out with. Number 3, the searching for Riley and Ray and Sheehan and Ryan and Greeley today. Number 4, curious notes, more than Ned Kelly for Australia it is. And number 5, Friday Fish and Penance returns. I wonder if that means me and you. And number 6, curious note, climbing Croagh Patrick could have some unforeseen consequences. All that and more coming up in just a couple of seconds. Hey, remember, we've got podcasts that are free, and we've got podcasts that are archived for a very small fee, and we've got member-only podcasts, so catch them all if you can. Now, the first 5 CDs in our Irish Masters program, year 1, and that doesn't mean they're masters on the CD. It means if you want to become a master, listen to year 1, and by the time you get to year 4 or 9 or 10, you'll be a master if you're lucky. And these CDs include Irish America, song, dance, recitation, Irish history, Irish language notes, and, of course, our Irish video shorts. Now, I sent the very last CD out last week to be produced, or it's already produced, but to be pressed, and that's the one on Irish genealogy and family history, and that comes with the printed Beginner's Guide to Irish Genealogy as well, so it includes both of them, and all you folks out there interested in genealogy should like that CD. I got at least an hour's worth of hints and tips and stories, and it'll take you from raw beginner all the way up, and when you've got the book to add the notes to it, boy, I tell you, you're on a roll, and you ought to be doing something within the next 3 days once you get that. Now, all those CDs should be back, all 6 of them, so we've got a nice little package we put them all into. It's a head school package, and they'll be back ready either later this week or next week if all goes well, and only 100 sets have been pressed, so keep an eye out. Ooh, and Maria tells me there's going to be the first Irish sing-song Sunday, the first Sunday in June at the Irish Center, Union Station, Kansas City. Hey, I'll be there, and a bunch of other people will be too. We're going to try some singing. Hey, here's the 1 minute podcast, and it's going to be today. We're going to take that from that Irish class. That Irish class CD, show you the kind of things we've got on there, and here's today's sample. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back right after. Ooh, and the word for the day is sláinte.
Sláinte.
Oh, did I say it right?
You were very close.
Oh, good. Now, I've heard that word ever since the first time I saw it, maybe 30 years ago. I heard a person say, well, sláinte.
Oh.
Now, is that a real word, or is that just an American? I prefer to call that American accent.
Oh, it's an American accent. It's a Texas accent, I think, on Irish. Sláinte is probably the most common pronunciation in Ireland, although you will hear sláinte. Can you hear the difference? Sláinte, sláinte.
Yes,
Yeah.
just very slight.
Very slight.
Now, I've also seen on the computer, a lot of people will sign off and they'll say slan, like just S-L-A-N.
Oh, now that's a different word. S-L-A fada in. That's that little mark over the A.
Oh, that's the accent mark.
That's the accent mark. And that keeps it from sounding like slan. Makes it slan.
Okay.
And slan means health.
I mean, like good health to you. But
well, it's
yeah.
a root word. It means health. And so does slancha. Slancha means health. But really, they use slan as goodbye.
And how do you spell slancha?
Slancha is S-L-A fada I-N-T-E.
Okay.
So.
I've seen that spelled a whole lot of different ways, too. Of course, that's only fair because I've researched things going back for, 1,000 years, really, in some of these writings. And the way they spell things in Ireland changes so much.
Oh, absolutely.
The same word.
Yes.
And even scholars. Oh, and talking about scholars, Renata is a great one. She's the host of our Hello Fada podcast first year series. And she's also the one we've got on the CD from the best of that series. So I think you'll enjoy it if you're curious at all about the Irish language, and you may want to go on and take something, a real serious course about it, or you may want to just browse it and understand what it might all be about. And that's what that first year head school CD is all about. Now that CD is going to be our book of the day. We're going to do that just to let you know more about what's on there. And, of course, that's with Renata Rua, like we said before. And it's Notes for the Curious About the Irish Language, and it's the best of the Hello Fada podcast or broadcast. Now, what do we cover? Well, we talk about the basic phrases, some greetings, how to say, how are you, how to say, I am fine or not bad, and why you might say it that way. And all about the fada and counting and Irish proverbs. If you've got a favorite Irish proverb, you might find one here. We might just give it to you. And a little bit about names and how to say, I am from, where are you from? Kansas City, New York. And my name is, and we'll even sing a song for you. And it'll be a simple song that you'll be able to sing in Irish. All you have to do is listen to it, one time if you're really sharp that day, and maybe 2 or 3 times if you're wanting to study it a little bit, but it's real easy, I'm telling you. So there's really all kinds of benefits to this, and you can listen to it in the car while you're driving or at home, or if you're just about to doze off and take a nap and you need something to put you to sleep, well, this might just wake you up. So that's basically the story on that one, and I think we're ready to ship it now. We've just sort of been holding off the promotion till we got all 6 CDs back from the Irish Head School Year 1 Master's Program. So that ought to be coming up. Gosh, by next podcast, that whole thing ought to be ready, and that'll be fun. I don't know what kind of special offers we might make people who are members or who will become members. Now that's a good idea. I think we'll have some very interesting things come up on that. So that's about learning Irish, Notes for the Curious on the Irish Language CD. And, hey, while we're here, remember that we've got a podcast, which is like our radio show on the net, available 24/7. And we also have a blog reader where you can click on that little symbol and it will read the blog. It's sort of like a computer. Voice is reading that blog back to you, and the blog's got a lot of similar stuff to the podcast. A few things are different, and of course it has links to some of the things we're talking about, so that can be important. And then of course we've got the blog itself, which you can read anytime, night or day, so you can take your pick of how to enjoy all these things, and we'll have more interesting things coming up all year long. We're on a roll now. And, hey, we got some new things here just a minute. Ooh, it's time for Magnificent 7. Hey, and also coming up, we've got something about how long it might take to climb Croagh Patrick, and also No Curtsy for the Queen. I wonder what that's about. But now it's time to raise our eyes skyward, give thanks, and ask for help. Here are today's magnificent seven. Number 1, Robert Weir of Santa Maria, California. Welcome as a new member. And they say they've been trying to trace their mother back to Ireland, and her last name is Riley, and says, I've gotten to an 1861 Canadian census and found my great-grandmother, maybe, Miles, and then my great-grandfather Michael and wife Ann, according to handwritten notes. And I've got all this on the blog. It's a long paragraph, and I tell you, you've traced his mom's great-grandfather Michael Riley and spouse Ann to the 1861 Canadian census. And Michael was born in County Cavan in 1823, and Annie Gilboy was born in Sligo, 1826. And, of course, he's stumped from that point. That's getting pretty far as it is. If you can help, let us know. Number 2, Nora Perry of Chantilly, Virginia. Welcome as a member searching for Michael Ryan family from Tipperary and Michael Greeley from Mayo and Taylor from Newmarket. 3, Jan Peterson of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Your Conquest of Ireland set, passenger lists, and Milesian Families book have shipped. Number 4, Martha Rasmussen of Ames, Iowa is the first to get the Missouri Irish, the original history, from our new CD collection. Congratulations. Number 5, Brian Sheehan of Burlingame, California, searching for Sheehan, and Kevin Ray of Menominee, Wisconsin, searching for Ray. Welcome as a member. And Cindy McCormick of Cheyenne, Wyoming, searching for Bartholomew McCormick, left Ballymitty, May 1845. Thanks to all of our members. Without you, these podcasts would not be possible. Our books wouldn't be possible. And now our CDs wouldn't be possible. So we owe it all to you. And it's been a lot of fun. We hope you keep up the support. Every member, every book purchase makes a difference. Now we're going to take a look at the Irish family name of the day, and that's MacGill. Our member spells it as Magill, but I tell you, there's a lot of other spellings or a lot of other names that can come from. And last week we did the surname search on Rowan, and that was for Deborah Warner of San Diego, California. I didn't have that last week. But this week, MacGill is for Victoria Barnett of Augusta, Georgia. Good old Georgia. Related spellings of the name can be, it can be just shortened to Gill, or it can be MacGill instead of MacGill. It can be shortened to Mac, M-A-C-K, or it can be shortened from names like McGillicuddy or McGilly or MacGill or MacGill. It can be shortened to. I think you get the idea. Variant spelling group number 1159 from the Guide to the Various Spellings of Irish Family Names. Link to that on the blog. And if we take a quick look at the history of the name or some notes on it, aside from all those many names that can start with the prefix M-A-C or M-A-G-I-L, and they can be shortened to MacGill, we have other references to the name, of course. Now, the forms of McGill, Gill, MacGill, and MacGill are all stem from the same source, or can all stem from the same source. And it's often found in the north of Ireland and can come from Scottish origins in Ireland, of course. And by the time of the 19th century birth index, you're going to find they say it is most numerous in Dublin, Galway, Mayo, and Longford. And it represents several origins, I would think, because there's so many possibilities. So remember that when you're looking. And in Pinner's Survey, we go to the Conquest of Ireland, a series of books. And in Pinner's Survey, we find John MacGill of County Down, given along with his wife. And Captain James MacGill is given in the families of County Kerry as a landowner. So those are just a few examples. I think you're going to find this name fairly easy. It's just a matter of narrowing it down. And we took a quick search in the Irish Book of Arms for family coats of arms, and we find that MacGill is given along with MacGill in the Irish Book of Arms, and we find that MacGill of Gill Hall, County Down, is also shown. And McGillicuddy and names like that are also illustrated in the Irish Book of Arms, but that's just a wild guess. And, you know, sometimes those wild guesses can work, and sometimes, well, it's a wild goose chase. Hey, remember, coming up later in this episode, what exactly did Marconi do in County Galway? And why have they been celebrating that? I wonder where I could go to find out about that. Oh, you amateur radio operators ought to know about Marconi and his experiments. Well, finishing up on MacGill there's a lot of books you can find that name in. We'll look for, you can find Mac and MacGill in Mac, Mick, and O names from the 17th to the 20th century records. That's a book, one of the later ones I published. Number 2, S. MacGill in the Fall of Irish Chiefs and Clans. Just plain old Gill in the Missouri Irish book. And here we have MacGill is also given in the families of County Dublin, Ireland. And let's see, Arthur MacGill is given in King James Irish Army list. And of course, King James Irish Army is the army that the native Irish mostly fought on. Number 6, Captain James MacGill is found in families of County Kerry, Ireland. I think I mentioned that in the history. And of course, that John MacGill was given in Pinner's Survey of Ireland. And that's one of the 4 books in our Conquest of Ireland series. And of course, it's available separately too, so there's no problem there. And remember, you can search for your name in our free index that tells you where the name might appear in all of our books. And that can be helpful because if it all shows up in just certain counties or certain areas, that might mean you need to center your search in those areas. And it's free. Leave that Mac or O off the beginning of the name in most cases to make a successful search. Around the World in Irish Ways, the web page and video of the month. Number 1, the MacGill Family Genealogy Forum. We've got a link on the blog. Number 2, Lone Piper and Drummer start this video off, and I think that's about the early Galway Festival. Number 3, Outlaw Ned Kelly and his final Australian stand. Oh, I remember old Ned Kelly. He wore those plates of metal all over him to protect him from bullets. I know some guys that would try that today if they had the chance. Number 4, the Marconi celebration in Clifton, County Galway. That's a video on YouTube. So was that Ned Kelly. That was a video. And the Lone Piper. That was a video on YouTube. Number 5, climbing Croagh Patrick in 5 hours. I wonder what that's about. They talk all about climbing that mountain. And I've been up there and climbed it part way. I saw some mighty healthy people only making it halfway up and coming back down. Then there were some veterans that were actually climbing that rocky, gravelly mountainside in bare feet. And I wondered how in the world could they do it? I don't know if they fortified themselves with a little Guinness or just a lot of good prayer helped them up that hill. But boy, something has to help you because a lot of people are making that climb, and it's a pretty good one. So if you're in Ireland, give that a try. Hey, and remember, you can also see our video shorts at irishroots.com. We've got those posted up for that first year. And we also have all of our videos and our first travel log from way back when on the Irish Masters CD program. And that's on the Irish Video Shorts CD out of that 6 CD set. What have we got now? Everybody's favorite curious news and notes from around the world. Number 1. Hey, we all know the Queen of England recently visited Ireland and indicates that she wants to come back, even though no one had to curtsy. If you watch some of those speeches over there, Irish explained they were a little nervous, thinking they might be expected to curtsy, and they may not have had that inclination. And luckily, only the Queen's subjects have to curtsy, so when they came into the Dublin or where have you, they didn't have to worry about that. I think some other people might have worried about it, but hey, it's too late now. It's all happening. Number 2, not just Ned Kelly. The real story of the Irish in Australia. Ned Kelly's sort of like Jesse James, but that's not the whole story of the Irish in America or even America. The National Museum of Australia has a major new exhibition on the Irish in Australia, so got a link on the blog to that. Number 3, Paying the Piper was the theme of this year's Galway Early Music Festival, which has begun. Just started and already ended, I think. And that's what happens when you get an early music festival. Everybody misses it. And they also, at the same time, they're having the African Film Festival that also ran this past weekend in Galway. All kinds of interesting little things pop up in Galway. That's an interesting town. Besides that, I used to stop up there in Monks, just across Galway Bay there, and I'd have some good seafood. Number 4, being involved in shortwave radio, I already knew of Marconi connection with Ireland, and it was near Clifton, County Galway, that he set up his first transatlantic wireless station, and there's more to the story. And his descendants have come back to Ireland, and they seem to like it. I got a link on the blog, and there's also a video above. Number 5, Fish and Penance on Friday is back. Now, I just glanced at this article, but I've got a link on the blog, and I guess they're saying that you're supposed to have penance and eat fish on Friday again. It's been that way for a couple of years in one part of Ireland, and the other part of Ireland, maybe the south of Ireland, they're just now instituting it again. I haven't heard a lot of grumbling, but you'd think since they can't smoke anymore, they'd be able to not have to have fish on Friday. I like fish just because I like it, but I don't know. But the story's all there, and you can read it in the Irish Times, link on the blog. Number 6, hikers' heels and gangs of walkers are leveling Croagh Patrick. So says Father Michael MacGill. That's an interesting story. Got a link on the blog to that, but I guess he says since so many people are making it all the way up, or at least starting from the bottom and making it half the way up, that the rocks one by one are leaving the mountain, and you might just have a pile of rubble one day if they don't do something about it. Now, what would they be doing about it? I guess they could tax it or charge you for walking up barefoot a mountain and cutting your feet up. Somehow I don't think that part would be successful, but we'll see. Maybe if you brought a rock of your own and left it when you climbed up the hill, that would be the passage for going up the mountain. Rather than charging you money, just bring a rock or a pocket full of rocks and dump them out as you walk up. Sounds great to me. That's it for today. That's all for today, folks. Joseph, warm up those pipes. Remember, we have a broadcast series on Irish song and recitation, on local history of the Irish in America, and on 2,000 years of Irish history, as well as on the counties, and something special coming up on Irish language, I hope. We've got all that and more at our head school at irishroots.com. And you know, we've been known to appear, exhibit, teach, and even sing for your special events. Be sure to book in advance if it's important, and write me at my American address at Irish Roots Cafe, Box 7575, Kansas City, Missouri, 64116. Leave a message by phone at 816-256-3360. Reach me on my webpage at irishroots.com. Skype me at the Irish Roots Cafe. Get me on MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, and Irish Central. Members foot the bill so they get first priority, but we're open to all. And by the way, a big thank you to all of our members. And away.